Hello everyone, it's Shauna Lynn and I'm back again. Not to control your thinking, but to provoke some thoughts. And as I said in the last video, I have to write my notes because I'll ramble or I won't get everything across. And last night I was going to make this video, but I wasn't feeling it. And unless I'm feeling it, like this what I feel like the Lord is telling me to say, then I'm not going to do it. Which is a good thing I waited because it was 3 different things I wanted that I ended up putting in here, that it was only going to be one yesterday. So, and if you stay to the end, I will be speaking one of my poems. It was one of those revelation things where I wrote down what I'm about to elaborate on. So I'm going to elaborate first and then I'll read my poem just to give you a kind of a feel of what I'm going to be speaking about. The poem is called The Shattered Places. So, okay, go from that. So, from part of my study of self, I'm now aware that I have the gift of discerning spirits. Test the spirit by the spirit, 1 John 4. So, a couple scriptures to help with that. 1 Peter 4:10. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Then we have Romans 12:6-8. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully. You don't want to be grudging hard on nothing that you do. Then don't do it if you do it out of love. Do it out of your heart, kind heart, not a mean heart. So, just from talking with someone, I can see where they're hurting. A lot of people will ask me, do I go to school for counseling? No. Counsel the spirit. Go to school on counseling the spirit. So there you go. With the word. The only book you need is the Bible. Okay. Which I can then either address and conversing with them if they're open to it, or I can just intercede with prayer for them. That's praying for someone or something on something that they might not even be aware of the need for prayer on that thing. They might not be open to it. They might still be blind to it, but you can see it. So if you can't help, then you just say a prayer for them. A genuine prayer, heartfelt prayer. Don't just be like, I pray for you. No, they don't even got to know you're praying. Just digest it, pray, do your part. With that being said, my discernment mixed with my empathy to others and unaddressed / turning a blind eye to my weaknesses of the flesh. I would allow relationships to form with the ideal that I can help fix them because I can see their problem. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. So now I done got into relationships with these people and I'm trying to help. They're not receiving. That's why it's good to just with brokenness and broken people, don't form that intimate relationship because it takes away from you helping them. Because things come in and blind other things, and you point out, things you point out that you think you did. So it doesn't end up well for me. I don't know about y'all, but for me, don't end up well. Okay, frustration. I did not know that I was doing this at first. I didn't know. It's only been a year or two that I've even noticed this thought process and evaluated my own thinking, heart, and actions. Check yourself. Always check yourself. So I'll get involved with brokenness, sin against my calling and my worth. Realize that now it's harder to help them spiritually because I just crossed over into the world and now the enemy can play in this field. Because he can encourage the flesh, especially the weaker vessels. Especially. back when I was married, when the enemy couldn't affect me through what my husband was doing anymore, he went for my kids. And I got mad. Don't mess with my babies. Now I got them starting to fight their own spiritual battles, because when mama doing it, they coming for you, and if you come, hey, we all fighting. Everybody fighting. In the flesh, but not, sorry, in the spirit. Not in the flesh, you're not going to win. Spiritual battle. We fight against spiritual principalities in the heavens places, not the flesh. You're going to lose when you fight in the flesh. You're going to lose every time. Okay, that's one of the key reasons two people need to be whole before pursuing anything. A house divided cannot stand. Do not give your heart to an unequally yoked relationship, or you will just end up in what is referred to today as a situationship. God forms relationships. Remember that. Every time God talks about it, relationship, relationship, relationship. Not relations, relationship, relationship. The enemy forms situations that God has to ultimately rescue us from. Enough said. Okay. I said all of that to say this. The enemy has no standing when you fight in the spirit. None. Point blank. Period. It's a fixed fight. He lost. He know he lost. The only thing he trying to do right now is to get other spirits down there so he can have one big party. Then when you realize what's been going on all this time, it's too late. It ain't too late right now. That's why he give us time and chance again to get it right. Get frustrated. My frustration is with the enemy. Get frustrated with him. Miles Monroe said, when you cannot change anything, you do not hate. Find a proper cause to hate and make a change. It's for the better. I'm trying to tell you. But he has some playing ground when you step on his court, which is the flesh. It's weak. And this is what happens when a beautiful soul falls in love with a wounded warrior instead of just loving them as God's people. This has been my biggest problem. But I see it, I address it, and from here on, I am taking a stance against it. Like, whether it against myself, against those situations, I'm just done. I surrender. I fully surrender to everything to walk the way he wants me to walk. I surrender. We have to adopt the covering of a coniferous tree, which is an evergreen. They have a wax coating, which they have protection. God is our protection. Jesus is our protection. So when we're like the coniferous tree, we have that coating to keep the water in, we need to keep the spirit in, because they can stay green year round. They don't have to lose their leaves because the elements around them is changing and they falling off, and then they got to come back when the next season comes. Be an evergreen. In order to be an evergreen, you got to have a protective layer of coating, of covering the Lord to keep the water in, the word, the spirit. Be a coniferous tree, an evergreen, pine tree, the pointy. Come to a point? Okay. So I realized as long as I'm over here distracted, my purpose will be lacking. And with that being said, let's read this spoken word. This is my first time speaking it, okay? I was supposed to go speak one last year. This is still not the one that I was going to go speak, but this ties with this message. Called The Shattered Places. Okay. It is your brokenness, I've realized, that draws me near. Your jagged edges adjacent to mine, creating an abstract piece of art, beautiful in its own way. Something about the scar sets it apart. So we come together for the similarities in our shatteredness, believe in the dysfunctional thought that it must be meant to be because we hurt the same. But pain begets pain and love cannot live there. How can we possibly fix in someone else what we couldn't do for ourselves? Becoming Dr. Frankenstein, we contribute in creating a monster, sewn together by our own madness with hatred in every stitch. But it's not the actual person that we dislike, it's the crumble parts in them that matches yours. We want to iron them out without putting heat to ours first. How can we clean out the speck in their eye when the log in ours is so noticeable? Self-evaluation before we can evaluate others is always a must. When we become our biggest critic, the work that we need to do can start to take root in our soul, stretching into our spirit, forming branches with good fruit attached, becoming nourishment not only for our consumption, but to others around us as well. Surviving in dysfunctional love is just that, surviving. Trying to maintain the steady flow of poison that is coursing through your veins with every pound of your tainted heart, sending shock waves of anger to your psyche like the seconds hand on an analog clock, ready to tick, tock at any time. Like an atomic bomb setting off explosions that are so powerful that they affect generations to come. Instead of admitting our role in the fight, we hide our hand cowardly, taking zero ownership like the secret owner of an abandoned dog, stewarding neglectfully over the energy that is being transferred from one to another. When we start to really look at our reflections and take full responsibility of our shattered places, allow God to be the filler, then we can truly say that we're repaired. Not restored because the old us was damaged, but made anew, using the old us as an example and not as an excuse. Drop the mic. So, I hope this lesson of myself and self-evaluation has helped you in some way, form, or fashion, because we are here to help one another to grow in the Lord. So, once we get over self and get over ego, then we can properly do that. So forget the word YOLO and adjust your halo, because we in the ending times, like, hard. So don't let the enemy fool you and thinking it's YOLO. He just don't want to be solo, okay? Remember that. Food for thought. A little something to think on. Ponder. Okay? So I'm out. Audi 5000. Until next time. But I'm not here to control your thinking, but to provoke a thought.